Okay, so just to reiterate that, the parts of the body that are on the ground, the forehead, the nose, the knees, the palms of your hand, and your toes, basically, facing the forward direction, the direction of the Qibla. That's the correct way of going into sajda. And what in the sajda, one says, Subhana Rabbil A'la, 3 times or more. Okay? One then comes out of the sajda, Allahu Akbar. Okay? Now, when one is in this position, okay, again, body should be straight. Okay? One should not come out like this and go down again. Okay? Notice the difference. Okay? So this is the incorrect way of doing it. Okay? That's the incorrect way. The correct way is you go into the first sajda, you come out, okay? Your shoulders should really be above your thighs. Okay? You want to be fully up in that relaxed position, and then you go down again into the second sajda. Okay? Now when one is sitting like this, okay, the right foot should be in a certain position. The right foot should be like this. Okay, so the fingers, the toes, okay, the toes, you're trying to point the toes to the forward direction. Okay, you are sitting on the left hand foot, and the right hand foot is such that the toes are pointing forward. Okay? Okay.
The mistakes that people put on elbow.
Yeah. So the elbows, okay, so the elbows should not be on the ground. Yeah, this is not the correct way. Okay? The correct way is like this. So I'll just repeat the 2 sajdas. So the first sajda, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. And then one goes back into the second rakat. Okay, so that's concluded the first rakat, or the first unit of prayer. Okay, in the second unit of prayer, one will recite 2 things. Okay, so in the first unit of prayer, in the standing position, there are 3 things to recite. The opening supplication, and we'll go into this next time, inshallah. The opening chapter of the Quran, Surah Fatiha, and another chapter or a few verses of the Quran. That's the first, in the first rakat. In the second rakat, okay, there are 2 things to recite. Surah Fatiha, the opening chapter, and then another chapter of the Quran. Okay, so one will recite those, and then everything else is exactly the same. Allahu Akbar, Subhana Rabbil Azim, Subhana Rabbil Azim, Subhana Rabbil Azim. Sami Allahu liman hamida, Rabbana lakal hamd, hamdan kathiran tayyiban mubarakan fi. Allahu Akbar. Subhana Rabbil A'la, Subhana Rabbil A'la, Subhana Rabbil A'la. Allahu Akbar. Now one thing I didn't mention is that between the 2 sajdas, between the 2 prostrations, there is a supplication that one can say. One can keep it a short supplication, one can make it a little longer. One can say, Allahumma gfirli warhamni, or one can say, Allahumma gfirli warhamni wajburni warzuqni wahdini wa'afini. Okay, so those are two alternatives. You can go with the shorter one, or you can go with the longer one. That's between the two prostrations. Yeah. So you do the second one. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Okay. Then we have what's termed the sitting position. Okay. So this happens after 2 rakats. One sits, and there are some supplications that one would say at this position. Now, depending on whether you are doing a 2 rakat salah or a 3 or 4 rakat salah, will determine exactly what you say here. Okay. So if you are doing, let's say we are doing, this is the last unit of the prayer. You're doing a 2 rakat prayer. Then there are 3 supplications that one would say at this position. And I won't recite them this time. I think we will focus on these supplications next time. But I just want to point to how we handle the finger at this position. So there are some differences in opinion exactly how the finger moves during this time. So the position that I follow in the Shafi fiqh is that you start off with the finger down, okay, and then when you get to a certain place in the supplication, then you raise the finger up, okay, and then you keep it half up to the end of the prayer. Before you do the salam, you lower it, okay. There are other ways of doing this also, and these are also correct. Certain schools of fiqh, you will just raise it up and you keep it up. Other schools of fiqh, you raise it up and then you will lower it and raise it up and down. And there are other schools where you will rotate it. So these are different variations in how the finger moves up. So this is this is what we term the shahada finger. Okay? The index finger is termed the shahada finger, which means the finger of testimony. Okay? And we will talk about the supplications next time and when you raise it, when you lower it, etc. Okay? Now, during this time of the prayer, okay, one's attention is on the finger. So one's eyesight is on the finger. And then the way to conclude the prayer is to say, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Okay? And the gaze here is going all the way to the shoulder. Okay? So you're moving the gaze all the way to the shoulder and then to the other shoulder. Okay? So your eyes move, as you move your head, your eyes move to the shoulder and your eyes move to the other shoulder. Okay? Now during this position that we are seated, if it's the final unit of your prayer, then there are 3 different supplications that one would say at this point. And the first is what is referred to as the tashahhud, and this is where we would raise the finger. The second is a prayer of peace on the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, and the Prophet Ibrahim, peace be upon him. And then the third is an additional supplication, and there's various alternative, authentic supplications that one would say at this position. And again, we will go into those supplications, inshallah, next time. Okay, so that's the 2 units of prayer.